Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As our nation faces a shortage of armed forces enlistees, we should continue to promote diversity and a welcoming environment. It is important for the force to look like the country that it serves. The Office of Diversity and Inclusion helps facilitate recruitment and empowerment of our diverse armed service members. Now, let me remind the members of the committee that almost 20% of our enlisted men and women are 15% African American and 20% Hispanic. However, when it comes to leadership, only 4% are Hispanic and only 6.5% are African American. This is a readiness issue. Lack of diversity in leadership means we're not bringing ideas from all sides. I think about my own district and the history of the Buffalo Soldiers. I think about my state of New Mexico and the history of the Navajo Code Talkers and how important it was for them to stand up as American patriots to defend this country. By recruiting a diverse workforce, we bring more innovative thought and solutions to complex and complicated problems that are facing our national security today. The diversity allows for different perspectives, additional context, different lived experiences.
Will the gentleman suspend briefly? Which amendment are you on, Mr. Vasquez? I think you're on the next amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I am on this amendment regarding the defunding of DEI and DEI in the military.
That's the next one.
Well,
They bear superficial similarities. But
well, Mr. Chair, since we will be spending quite a bit of time discussing this today, if I could have 30 more seconds.
Of course. This is your time. I just wanted to make sure you knew which amendment you were on.
Absolutely. Well, we absolutely have to make sure that when we talk about critical race theory or DEI, that we understand the history of this country. And it's not critical race theory as is broadly painted by Republicans in what are our higher educational institutions. It is an understanding of who we are as people and as a country to better unify our armed forces. As I mentioned before, in places like New Mexico, where Native Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Black Americans have served alongside this country proudly and bravely and have put aside their differences to defend this nation. So I urge a no vote on this.
With that number that was just mentioned, about 6 million hours, we have to keep in context what my colleague from California was talking about here, that we're talking about 2.4 million service members, recognizing that that's what's adding up to this 6 million. One thing that I just find so frustrating about this debate is this kind of casting this cloud as if all the training that our service members are doing is just simply about, these issues that we're talking about here. When we ask our service members, when we ask our leaders about the lethality of our force, I don't think anyone here in this room would say that our force is less lethal, less capable of being able to do the things that we need them to do around the world. And we've seen and been increasing the amount of spending that we're doing in exactly that kind of place. And the other aspect that has come up over and over again is that it is exactly this debate that we're having right now that is casting this politicization over our military, just this idea that we are thinking about this solely in terms of the political chips that we talk about here in D.C. So I just ask us to be able to move on and be able to push forward and be able to support our troops in the way that we need to.
So as a guy who recently retired from 21 years in the military, spending about 2 weeks per year training on multiple subjects, spent about 4, maybe 5 hours per year speaking about exactly this sort of thing. When you say it doesn't happen that much, when you spend 4 hours, 5 hours talking about how to treat somebody who is different from you, whether it be transgender or whatever, as a physician, what I need to know is what gender you are so I can treat you according to what you need to be saved, to be healthy. I don't need to be told to treat you politely. The amount of time that we spending on that could have been spent making the ER safer, which we did not do. The ER in the military is actually a little bit less safe than it is in the civilian world. We have different training standards. We have more training, but we're less safe. That's the irony of this. If it's not helping us accomplish our mission, if it's not unifying us, if it's not helping us do something better, why are we spending time on it? And that's why I fully support this amendment.